Hello and welcome to another video for Midas Touch Toys, Games, Collectibles. And today, well, we're looking at something that is now quite old, has become very rare and is now incredibly collectible. We are looking at the 1996 release by IPI from their series of electronic Star Trek communicator badges. And this particular one we're looking at today is from Star Trek The Next Generation. And it is the Starfleet standard communicator, which was worn by all the crew in Star Trek The Next Generation. Now, as you know, Star Trek The Next Generation was an immensely popular television series. It was the second live action series in the Star Trek franchise, behind the original series and the animated series. Star Trek Next Generation first aired in 1987. September 28th was the very first episode to hit the screens, and it ran for 178 episodes over a period of 7 seasons. And each episode ran for about 45 minutes, and they explored all different things during those 7-year period. And just a little bit of trivia for you. The budget for each single episode of Star Trek Next Generation was $1.3 million. Anyway, this is the communicator badge as worn by all of the crew in the Star Trek Next Generation. And this particular one is an electronic communicator badge with talking sound badge. This is the packet that it comes in. So the very top, it's got pull plastic tab on back to activate try-me function. It says warning, choking hazard, small parts not for children under 3 years. And it says Star Trek The Next Generation. And then you've got an image of the USS Enterprise NCC 1701D. And it says attaches magnetically. No pin damage to clothing. A light touch activates authentic communicator sound effects, and the phrase Enterprise here, how many to beam aboard. It says Starfleet Command talking sound badge, and you've got the United Federation of Planets logo there in purple just below where it says how many to beam up. Okay, that's the front of the card. Let's just turn the card around and see what we got printed on the back. Okay, so I've turned the card around, and this is what we've got on the back. So it says additional badges available. So you've got Star Trek Next Generation Communicator, which says Enterprise here, how many to beam aboard. And that is actually this particular one we're looking at today. You've got Star Trek Voyager Communicator, which says bridge here, status report. And then you've got the Star Trek Deep Space Nine Bajoran Communicator. And it says ops here, go ahead. And finally, you've got Star Trek The Next Generation Klingon Communicator. And it says, yes, what do you want? And that speaks in Klingon, in the Klingon dialect. And just below that, it shows you how to change the batteries. It says battery replacement, open battery hatch is shown in diagram. No position of batteries, replace in same position with LR44 or A76 batteries. Place sound module speaker on the bottom, facing out behind the shirt. Align badge outside shirt and magnetically attached to the sound module. Push the badge to activate. And then you've got the barcode at the bottom there. And it says for replacement batteries, send $2.50 per set to wherever. If you wanted to order them online, you order them on mail order. That's to Castle Rock in the US. And it says TM and copyright 1996, Paramount Pictures, all rights reserved. Star Trek and related trademarks are trademarks of Paramount Pictures, IPI authorized user. Made in China, and you got the IPI address in the US there at the bottom as well. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove the tab. Now, I have actually already opened this pack because I opened it to change the batteries because I didn't want the batteries to leak. So, and this was a former shop display item. So I very neatly cut around the back, and I'm going to take out the communicator, the back section there. And then we've got the badge. Now, if you bear with me, I'm going to take the badge out and show you exactly how this all works. Okay, so I've removed the badge and I've got the back section, and I've put the badge is magnetic. Now there is a magnet. Oh, excuse me, I've pressed the button there by mistake. Okay, so you can either have it whichever way up you want to have it. It clips onto your clothing magnetically, so that would go underneath your clothing and that would go on top. And if you touch bearing in mind that's going to be against your skin, and if you touch the badge, actually I think I need to go the opposite way up because the button's on the other side. So if I turn it over and move it to the top, there you can see you've got the button here, and as that's resting against your clothes, when you touch the button, that's how it works basically. So if we have it down on the ground and we press it, it's very light touch. It doesn't need a great deal of touch, and I say as it's magnetic, it holds on. You can run around, move and so on, and it's not going to come off. But basically, as you're pressing the badge, you're actually pressing that against your skin or against your body, which is what makes a sound. And obviously then you've got the speaker at the back. So the badge itself is about 5 centimeters in height, and if we go across the Delta badge, you're about 4 centimeters in width. And the speech box, what are we looking at there? We're looking at 7 centimeters in height by about 4 centimeters across. And the overall thickness, if you measure the two together, you're looking at about 2 centimeters. So you're about 1 centimeter on each one. And then say that's the button. And that's what you get every time you touch the badge. So remember, that's going to be against your body, and as soon as you touch it, that's what you're going to get. So that is the communicator badge. Anything else I can tell you about that? Not a lot really. That is pretty much how it works. Great novelty item. So if you was dressed up in your Starfleet uniform and you was going to go out to I don't know, cosplay or something, or a fancy dress, it would be a great thing to have to wear and to show off. So there we are. That's how it works. Now, beg the question, how well did these do back in 1996? Well, 1996, Star Trek was huge. It was probably, at that point, the biggest franchise in the world. It had been in the public eye, well, ever since Star Trek The Next Generation had come back. So since it first aired in 1987, it had been right in the public eye. It was the most popular sci-fi television series on network television. As I say, it ran for 7 seasons. It was huge. And then, of course, with Star Trek Next Generation, we then had Star Trek Deep Space Nine. So the last season, or maybe 2 seasons, they crossed over. So you had the Next Generation and Deep Space Nine airing at the same time. And then, of course, when Star Trek Next Generation finished on TV, they went into the movies. And there was Star Trek Generations, which bridged the gap between the two, the original series and the Next Generation series. And then, of course, you had First Contact, Insurrection, and Star Trek Nemesis. Obviously, while that was going on in cinema, you then had Star Trek Voyager began to air on television before Star Trek Enterprise made its debut. So there was so much Star Trek going on. So Star Trek was a big thing. Not to mention you had all the reruns of the original series on television as well, plus the movies, the older movies being shown. So it was huge. Any merchandise for Star Trek that came out sold out very, very quickly. Back in 1996, we still had the shop. I can remember these badges coming in. We had a whole case of each 4 of them. We put them on the shelf when they come in, and literally in that first week, we'd sold out of the lot. We did get some more eventually. It took a few weeks, I think, before more stock come in, and obviously the hype had gone by that time. But you know, when they first come out, they sold tremendously well. Okay, so let's move forward 29 years to 2025, which is where we are today. Do these badges come up very often on the platforms? Well, yeah, you do see them from time to time pop up in the platforms, some more often than others. So when I was looking on the platforms, I saw a few of the Bajoran ones and one or two of the Klingon ones. I didn't see any of the Voyager ones, and I think I saw just one other of the Star Trek Next Generation one. So some of them more than others, but they don't come up that often, and when they do, they're normally snapped up quite quickly. So yes, they do pop up, but not very often. And again, obviously, be a little bit careful if you're buying on a platform, because you may think you're buying a new one, and in actual fact, you're only buying a used one, a loose one maybe. So just have it, if it says used and not new, just click on the used icon and see what you're actually going to get, rather than just order thinking you're going to get new and it's perhaps not available. So just be a little bit careful. Otherwise, you can come to us at Midas Touch Toys Games Collectibles, where we do have, I think we got the complete range of these badges available. Now, as I say, these badges that we have, they are all former shop stock. They were display items, and they were put in the shop display for a while before being returned to the packet and retired to the stock room for over 30 years. Over 25 years, I should say. So they haven't been sold and they haven't been played with, but because they've been opened, it gives me the ideal opportunity to use these as our demonstration models on the videos. So even though they have been opened, they are still mint condition and have never been sold. But we can't sell them as new, we're selling them as used like new. So, but this particular one and the others are available on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to very simply by clicking the link below. It will take you straight to the website, where you'll be able to find this and many other vintage Star Trek items and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles. Come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. And there will be something for everybody. And I'm absolutely positive that this is something that you're not going to want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new items, which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there is something in particular you are looking for, something old that you've never been able to find, something quirky that you might want to buy for a friend, or perhaps just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long-lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know, the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful, wonderful Star Trek The Next Generation Starfleet Communicator talking badge. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again next video. So bye for now.